You guys don't care about the intro of the video, you read the title, so let's just jump right into it. My goal from now to the rest of time is to make sure you know what the best possible monitor is that you're buying, and today's video is specifically about 1440p, and I have 4 monitors that we're going to be testing out. I've done full reviews on the channel of each one of these monitors, but today I'm going to be rating them worst to best, so you can use this as your buying guide for your next 1440p monitor. Starting out, it ends up on the bottom of my list because it really didn't take over any of the other monitors that I've reviewed and kept, and that's the Pixio XC327. That guy's a 32-inch, 165 hertz, 1 millisecond response time gaming monitor, and I did a great review on it. If you want to check out the full review, obviously check on the channel, hit subscribe. The one thing I will say about it is you get a lot of monitor for the money, and because it's a budget brand like Pixio, that's kind of what you expect. But the downsides of this particular monitor are of course the oversaturation in colors, and it's not so unbearable that you can't use it, but it is to a degree going to bother you if you're picky at all about your monitors. However, there is a plus side to this monitor, and it's the fact that it pairs perfectly with the Series S or Series X, making it probably the best budget monitor out there for any of you console gamers that are looking for a new 32-inch monitor. The Pixio has some great features. The curved display was really nice. The setup was easy, and it was actually a good quality build. The aesthetic fit my desk, and I was generally fairly happy with the construction and the materials. The inputs were standard across pretty much any monitor that you'd find. 2 HDMIs and 1 DisplayPort. So as far as usable features and onboard I/O, it actually has a lot to offer for the lowest price that I've seen for a monitor of its class, which is about $329. Pretty good buy in my opinion, but there were a few things that just weren't good enough, and that's why it is going to be the last on my list for this video. By the way, this is just a stand-in for the Pixio because I don't have that display anymore. Which brings me to the next monitor on my list, and that of course is this guy right next to me, the LG GN850B. And as we move forward in time, we always like to look backwards to see what good products stand the test of time. And let me tell you, this monitor in all its glory has stood the test of time. All of the 850 lineup from LG have been a phenomenal product. That's why this is third on my list. And just so you know, the specs on this monitor, of course, are LG's Nano IPS, 144 Hz, 1440p display, HDR 400, and a 1 millisecond response time. The stand itself is beautiful in construction, has great cable management, it rotates, it has height adjustment, and does quite a bit more as far as aesthetics are concerned. The black and red accents, in my opinion, fit pretty much anybody's desktop, and this is by far one of the most phenomenal monitors that I've purchased for its price, which leads me to say that at $449, it was definitely a great value when it came out. But I think there's more value to be had in today's monitors in 2021. However, if you are looking to console game on this thing, you have to know you will not get variable refresh rate, and you do have to use a bit of a workaround in order to get 1440p 120 Hz to work, which really hasn't been a problem for me, but I have seen other people have issues here. So I've had this guy for about a year now, and it's done everything I needed it to do. I use it for editing, so video editing. I use it for gaming. I use it for content. I use it for general desktop work, and it's been a workhorse. That's why it's number 3 on this list, and in 2021 still worth buying because it does regularly go on sale. But I do have 2 other monitors to talk about that I've recently reviewed, and those are going to be coming right up. But before I get into that, I want to let you guys know that we have an amazing channel built out for you to check out. 99% of you guys are not subscribed, so if you could go ahead and hit that subscribe button. We have tons of playlists, tons of videos on the home screen of the channel. So if you go to that home screen, you're gonna see those playlists built out for you. All sorts of good stuff on the channel, so go check that out. Hit subscribe, you guys, and thank you for all of you that have so far. The last thing I'll say about this bad boy, when it came to gaming and overall pixel response rate, it did a pretty good job at 144 hertz with the 1 millisecond response time. It actually handled itself well. Would I say it's the best 144 hertz monitor that I've owned? Absolutely not. Definitely, it's not the best motion capable monitor that I've owned, and I do think LG's done a better job this year. But I've been happy, and there's been no real complaints since I plugged in a good NVIDIA 3090 GPU onto this guy and utilized that G-Sync technology. And for that, I give this guy a solid, probably 8 out of 10 score, meaning that I would definitely buy this again. So of course that brings me to the next monitor in the lineup, and what I have here is the Asus Tough Gaming VG32 VQR, and this bad boy is a lot of screen with that 1500R curve and the 165 Hz 1 millisecond response time. It's an AMD FreeSync Premium console ready ELMB gaming monitor, and let me tell you, this guy's a beast, and that's why it ended up number 2 on the list today. As far as usable features and how capable it actually is, I'd say it's pretty top notch for what you pay. You get a ton of technology packed into this 32-inch monitor that makes it worth its value at $449. The larger display, the fact that it's console ready, and the usable features like the rotating display itself, the height adjustment, and all the other nuts and bolts that come with it make it worth its salt when comparing to other monitors at $449. And I have to tell you that I did test this out on consoles, specifically the Xbox Series S. I have a full video on the review of this Asus Tough monitor if you guys want to check that out. It's going to be on the channel, so go hit subscribe so you can get access to that video. But I did test that out, and it was simple. It was pretty plug and play, and I got the full VRR capability with the 1440p 120 Hz. The strong points of this particular monitor are the fact that it has a great menu. The menu looks a little outdated, but it has every bit of control that you need to be able to calibrate your display, set yourself some presets, and really do a lot that most monitors don't have access to. And the fact that this is HDR 400 just gives it that extra boost in color when you need it. And I did game for multiple days using that HDR feature, and it was phenomenal. Now it's an 8-bit with dithering, not a full 10-bit panel, but so is pretty much every other monitor out there. So you won't really notice a difference when comparing this and say that LG GN850 we just looked at. Some of the other usable features are of course the fact that it tilts. The menu buttons on the back are large. I mean, they're square bits that are great for navigating because you can't really see where this is at. The downside is you do have your inputs kind of at the back here, so you have to either reach up or reach down and up. It's kind of a pain, not as good as what LG offers today. And the other downside is the fact that because it's 32 inches, the lighting panel doesn't really keep up with some of the games that I played. It gets a little washed out from time to time. It's not so bad that you really can't stand it. But if you're picky in that area and you want to have the most accurate display as far as not getting washed out, you know, or kind of over enhancing some images, then this may not be the monitor for you. But it really does stack up well. It's a great addition to the Tough Gaming lineup. I was thoroughly impressed. And, you know, hey, for content, it was a beast, let me tell you. But with the fact that this Tough Gaming has that just sheer aggressive look on the back, ELMB, console ready, HDR 400, 1 millisecond response time, 165 Hertz, that actually worked pretty dang well, pretty minimal ghosting when breaking it down to quarter speed in the review video. What could actually beat this monitor and really be the #1 monitor for 2021 that I've reviewed so far? Well, that's where this bad boy comes in. This is the LG GP83B, 27 inches of pure gold in my opinion when it comes to 1440p gaming. It, as the other monitors that we reviewed earlier, is a 165Hz, 1 millisecond response time nano IPS display, and this thing is a beast. Its G-Sync feature with that 165Hz and the actual usable pixel response rate adjustment will give you the most buttery smooth, just motion and crystal clear gaming experience that you can ask for. I put this thing through its paces, and just like last year's GN850, it has all the bells and whistles. It has this Y-style stand with the red accents, some venting back here to keep the actual display itself nice and cool. It rotates so you can use it as a vertical display. It has, of course, wire management in the back. It has 2 HDMI inputs. It has DisplayPort. It has headphone. It has USB and, of course, your power. This thing is a screaming monster, and on the 3090, it just destroyed the other monitors that I've reviewed, bar none. And I know the GP850 technically could be a better monitor, but spec for spec and pound for pound, I couldn't find any difference between this GP83 and the GP850, which leads me to tell you at $449, this 1440p monitor is #1 on the list, and I will put money on it that it is just as good, if not better, than the GP850 from LG. So this is part of the LG 2021 Ultra Gear lineup. The Asus TUF was also a 2021 lineup, but what LG has done with their updates is they fixed all the motion clarity issues they've had. That pixel response rate last year was a little rough. It wasn't top notch. It was maybe like a 7, 6.5 out of 10. This year, the pixel response rate paired with the 165Hz and G-Sync, I rate like a 9 out of 10. I mean, this thing is crystal clear. And the menus that they've updated, the menu itself is beautiful. It's got this awesome new kind of gamer style look. And within the menu itself, you can see that the presets, the calibration itself, the way you navigate is very, very simple. Now, there are some downsides, and the downside is the fact that with console, you do have to still do that workaround that I told you with the GN850. It's not plug and play. You will not be able to use variable refresh rate. The joystick down below is a little small. It's not hard to navigate, but I do wish it was a little bit larger. And of course, it is a flat style monitor, so if you like that curved and you want to be a little more immersed in your display, it doesn't have that. But that's never been a problem for me with this monitor. It's always been, actually, I almost prefer a flat panel depending on the monitor. You know, the Samsung CRG5 Odyssey was actually the exception for me. Their curve was solid, but that's me getting off into another tangent, and we're here to talk and discuss monitors. So with those 4 monitors mentioned, we have the PXC327, we have the LG GN850, we have the Asus TUF VG32 VQR, and at the top of the list we have the LG GP83B. I'm going to put those down in the description of the video, you guys, so you can click those links, get more info, and buy one if you would like. Those are 4 monitors that I've reviewed in the last year that I think are still worthy of buying and within a reasonable price for you guys to search out and get, whether you're a console gamer, PC gamer. I've tested it on all of those things, and these monitors stood out to me as the top 4 that I've done this year or within the last year that you should go buy. So I appreciate you guys watching. I hope this is a little bit of a shorter video. As always, we have a great group on Facebook called Only Nerds by Techccessory. We talk a lot about tech products, hobbies, things that we do as people in the tech community. And I ask you to join that group, Only Nerds by Techccessory on Facebook. And as always, subscribe to the channel. We have like 90 to 100 videos here, you guys. Tons are how-tos. Some are just reviews on new product. We have all sorts of unboxings. There's just a ton, and I break them down into playlists so you can easily navigate that from the homepage. So hit subscribe, and as always, I'll catch you in the next video.